Alright, what's up YouTubers? I just want to go over a quick video of the tank wall and the current progress and where it's at. Try out a video. I normally do lives, but let's just do a couple minute video just going to go over what's in these tanks on the tank wall. So tank number one is just, see, I labeled them. It's albino bristlenose babies. This is just your generic chocolates in here, and there's a blue polar parrot in here, but there's like 100 of those in there. And then in tank 3 we have our honeycomb bristlenoses. There's the male right there. And then the female is on the side of the cave. Hopefully they breed. I've been dropping the temperature slowly still. That's not what it is. It's at 76, I want to say. And then in the next tank we have our blue polar parrot and breeding pair, as you can see here. So I'm going to keep them separate as parents to keep breeding. They're hard to focus on, guys, sorry. But to keep breeding the polar parrots. Tank 5 we have our albino male and female that I had separate that I put together. And they have some growing to do, and then hopefully they will breed. Oh, look, it's gonna say hi. Very pretty spotted pattern on these. And the other one is back here, hiding under there. And then we have our convicts. I have a yellow convict, which is actually getting a lot of color to him. It's really crazy. But the yellow convict, as he gets bigger, he's getting a lot prettier. Like that color in the fin came out of nowhere. And like the dots back here and all the color around his jawline and stuff, that's all new. But he's a really pretty fish, and I hope he gets really big. But that's a really, really pretty convict. That's just a rare gem, I think, right there. And then there's an albino that I had from one of my batches. So that's, I kept one. I got rid of all my convicts but these two. So, special ones. And that's what's in that tank. This tank has green dragon bristlenoses in it. There's one male, 2 females, and one that's undeterminable yet. Here's one of the males just hanging out upside down. These are normal fin. There's one of the females, or the unknown one, right here. There's more in here somewhere. Let's see here. There's 1, 2. There's 3 right there. There's the unknown right there. And then number 4 is probably hiding behind. Oh, there's number 4 back here, guys. There's number 4. Okay. That's what's in there. And a snail, mystery snail, big one. I need to get some more wood. I keep forgetting when I go to Myers I need to get more pieces of wood. They actually have a good deal on them. They're like $6 for a piece of wood. And I got all these bristlenose tanks, so I need to get a couple more pieces. This one, I had taken out in the previous video, the Vija fenestratus, but I had to put him back in there because he was potentially attacking the other fish in the 55 gallon where I put him at. And I tried putting him in the 220, and the big biter had him in his mouth, so I had to pull him back out of there. He just can't handle it in there. He got stuck in like the hole that's like right in here. And when I put him in, he went in there and swam up into that hole, like wedged himself, and the biter was laying right here with his tail back. And yeah, that was just, biter was just looking at him. But back to the tank wall. So there's some chocolate plecos that are getting pretty big in here. Those are about an inch, inch and a half all day. So there's like 7 or 8 of them in here. And then tank 8 on the top shelf is a whole bunch of just bristlenose pleco babies. It's just a mix sale. But as you see, there's a whole bunch all over the place. They're just swarming the bottom of the tank. They are everywhere. There's tons of them. They're all up on the sides, and they're just everywhere. But yeah, I dumped those in there to save them from getting in the breeding tank. So I got 20 gallons of setup to solve this issue, so I won't have this problem. I can dump a couple hundred in a 20 gallon. Alright, let's go left to right again. This is shelf 2, so we just went over this whole shelf and everything in it. Now we're going to go to this shelf. That's 8 tanks we just went over. So this is a green dragon long fins. I really like like these guys. They're really cool looking. Really pretty fish. And the bigger they get, the bigger their fins get, of course, and it's going to be awesome once they start developing. There we go. So there is 7 of them in this tank growing up, and let's continue on. Like I stated before, the temperatures are not the actual temp, that's over temp compared. This tank keeps clouding up, see the clarity difference. I've actually put the clarity stuff in this tank twice, so I don't understand what the deal is. I think maybe food, they didn't eat all the food I put in there, which is weird because every tank hasn't done that, and there's food still in this tank, so I don't think it was the food. There is also 7 in this tank, and they are about the same size. I have no idea why this tank clouded up so fast, but I think I might attempt a water change in here or something because of that reason. But there is blue-eyed lemons in here. That's what's in this tank, is the blue-eyed lemons. So there's my big male, and then there's just 6 of them. They're not identifiable yet to determine what they are. They're still growing. Yeah, sorry you guys can't really see this tank that well. It's kind of stupid. Cloudy. This tank is albino bristlenoses. And that is a female right there. See how the bristles are just down around the front of the lip, not up the actual nose itself. That's a female. Sometimes they get that, sometimes they don't. That's definitely a female. So that one does not have it, but it's definitely mature enough to have the bristles. That's a male in there. That's got longer bristles on it, as you can see. And then there's 1 male and 3 females. The other female is either, yep, she's up there behind the heater. You can see her through the right side. There she is. There's the other female right there. I can shake her out. There she is. But they get sketchy sometimes. That's the other female, so hopefully the male will get one of them females in there. But alright. And this tank is, so we went through 9, 10, 11 tanks so far. And this tank here is the super red bristlenoses, 1 male, 1 female. And this is super red and albino babies. This is the accident tank that happened, that the babies got out before I was able to dump the cave. And yep, so there's probably 100 babies in this dang thing as well, and that's going to make it to where these don't want to breed. But the super red I had before I got the male that's back there was a female, so now I got the male to go with it, and I hope that's a male because there's only 1 barb sticking off the front, which is sketchy and scary. So if that's not a male, it's going to be really upsetting because it does suck that the bristles are like only at the tip. Time will tell. Time will tell, because they both do hang out back there, and I don't know. I think that's a female with bristles. Eek. I hope not, because that'll ruin everything. I need to find a male that size. Alright, so now we have this tank here, which is generic chocolate bristlenose, 1 male, 1 female. And of course 1 is right here. In here. I'm not going to be able to get a shot in there, but, and that's the female. I think that's in there because, or the male that's in there because the female's right here, I'm pretty sure, in the back. And then there's just a couple of larger ones in here that were in here from the get-go and don't really interfere from other batches. And then there's 1 baby. There's like 10 babies in here, I think, that escaped the cave before I was able to pull the cave. It's like one of those go to work, and before you leave, you look at it, and it's like, they're fine. They ain't coming out yet. And then you get home from work 10 hours later, and you're like, oh, well, they decided to come out the cave, and you kind of stick something around it if that ever happens to you, and you can kind of shoo some of them, and they will scare and go back into the cave, so that'll save you some trouble. So we are on 14, tank 14, and this is the sun Pictus catfish that was in the bedroom and the 55 as well, and he was, these can be kind of aggressive at times, so we did with him was he was attacking the other fish out there, I think, was part of the issue. And the 55, I think it was between this guy and the, I think it was between this guy and the Vija fenestratus, though, that's up there, that was doing it. And the bicher also he was a victim to the bicher. So, and he is easily an inch in diameter, and he's about 6 inches long, easy 6.5 inches long. So, I mean, that's what that 14-inch bicher, 15-inch bicher is able to ingest. And I mean, you can see some damage right in the middle, like right by where the sunspot's at. That's damage, and damage in the back, like you got him from the back and then finally got a hold of him. And then this is one albino male in this tank. This is tank 15. And then, yeah, and that's my original albino male. And then here is the space, the heater, and I have the sponge filter, of course. But there's the heater, there's the airline already ran, it's just shut off. But that's for the last tank, which was just told that somebody has it for me, so that'll be tank 16. And then the bottom tanks, if you've been on my channel, you know these are African cichlids. There's one pleco and a couple of giant snails in here. But these guys are really pretty. This is just one of the grow up tanks and some of the ones that I do have. Oh, that's a mating dance. 100% a mating dance. Good, somebody dropped some babies. And then in this tank, 17 or 16, so this 17 tanks on the wall right now. These are red dobbies, and I forget what these are. You're more than able to look it up and get a good side shot of them, or you can screenshot it. There you go. So you're more than willing to look these up. Good luck. I had no luck. If you can name this fish in the comment if you made it this far. Here's a bigger one right here. I could probably get you another shot of this guy right here. There you go. There you go. It's a good shot. And still that. If you can figure out what those are, let me know. Then we got our fire eels in here. And what else? There's 2 of them there, and there's one back here. Got a yo-yo loach. Gotta have the yo-yo loaches. They're really cool fish, and that's actually a really big yo-yo loach. He's like 4 inches. And then we have pleco in here, of course. Pleco in every tank. I think these guys bully him. He hides. He doesn't really do a good cleaning job. I barely ever see him on the side of the glass, but I mean the glass is kind of clean. It's just not as clean as it can be. And then there is, I gotta clean this tank out. It's getting bad, especially down here. Jeez, because he's always down here pooping. But that is a red tail loach, not a red tail shark. And there's 3 of those in here. And then there is another catfish, and it looks like he is back here. I might be able to show you guys him if he's not too far up in there, which he probably is. I forget what kind of catfish it is, but catfish up in there. He's like right behind the 2x4, so I can't really get a picture of him for you guys. But yep, that's everything that's on the tank wall right now. It's a lot of fish. A lot of fish. But thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, share my videos, go check out the channel, spend some time watching some videos, guys. Trying to get up there and get this stuff popping. But yeah, there's kind of a sneak peek of what goes on. Some really big fish, a bunch of fish. And this is just some of them. There's some in the bedroom, and there's some in the fish room, and I got a lot more coming. So I'm gonna have 45 tanks when it's all said and done. That's a lot of tanks. Alrighty, guys. King out.